Amen. It is such a blessing to be together today, afternoon already. We're so glad that all of you can be with us. And I just want to take another moment to thank everybody who is with us today, who led prayers for us, who sang their hearts out, even though what they were singing to was a computer or a webcam. How special that was, that you helped us feel connected with our tradition, with our prayers, with our Holy One, with our community on this unique holiday, which unlike any other. And I just want to appreciate everybody who contributed in all the ways that you did to make this holiday so special. And it has been such a pleasure, really, to honor it with you. So good afternoon, everyone. It is already afternoon. I hope your fast has been smooth. And it's really good to have everybody with us today. And I hope that our services have been meaningful and useful to you, whether you attended the 9 a.m. Spirit of Yom Kippur service or the traditional service, which we are just concluding now. So as your new rabbi, you are still, as I'm still getting to know you and you are still getting to know me. And I want to share a little story, something about me, something that I think it's important to know about me or to remember about me, if this is something that you already knew, is that not so long ago, I was you. And by that, I mean, I was not the rabbi organizing and leading high holiday services. I was simply a person attending those services. In fact, for many years of my younger adult life, I wasn't necessarily attending high holiday services at all. I was what one would call a secular Jew. And by that, I mean basically non-practicing, what some will also call a twice-a-year Jew. Back when I was a foreign correspondent working in Latin America and the Caribbean, I remember multiple years when I didn't get to go to high holiday services at all, or I would attend one holiday but not the other. I'll just say that Yom Kippur, I was not such a fan. Even more ironic, I remember sometimes in those years, I would actually leave the sanctuary for the rabbi's sermon because I just knew that it was going to be another boring annual plea from the rabbi that we should forgive people in our lives, blah, 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 blah. And I remember the first time that I wrote a sermon on forgiveness for the high holidays. And I had to laugh at myself because I realized that I had become that rabbi. I also realized that the rabbis of those before times probably weren't giving that sermon on forgiveness every single year. It probably only felt that way because I was having some difficulty with the subject matter itself, because I myself wasn't ready to forgive some things that I needed to forgive. I look back on those times now and I can chuckle about the irony there. And it's also a very clear example of how life can change us over time. And I have changed greatly. Life does change us. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how life is changing us right now and whether you see it as a good thing or not. I think this time that we are living in, of the pandemic, of the political crisis we are in, of the climate change that we are in, is a time of enormous change in our lives. The changes were already pretty significant even before the pandemic, but the pandemic really accelerated the rate and the scope of changes both around us and within us. I'll share with you one really important change I've noticed this year. You may have noticed it also. As a society, we've simplified a lot, and we've become what I'll call less materialistic. Think about it this way. If we are living in a time where 19 times out of 20, the outside world never needs to see what any one of us is wearing from the shoulders down, how much do we adults actually care about buying stylish new clothes for ourselves, or dressing up for work, or dressing up for anything for that matter? I pondered, for example, whether to invite you to dress up for the holidays at all this year, because our standards for dressing just seem different now, and that's okay. We may have some of you out there today who are still in your pajamas, not judging, but who would have imagined that that would be possible even a year ago? It's true. Life does change us. Another important change of our time. While we have been locked in during the pandemic, many of us were forced to slow down. And as we did so, we started to see more of the world around us. Actually seeing the world around us. Noticing, for example, just how many children weren't eating because they were no longer going to school where they would get free meals, because their family homes were food insecure. Did most of us really see that before? Maybe those of us who were in public schools were aware of this, but I don't think I was so aware of it as I became over the spring. Perhaps we watched the video of George Floyd being strangled to death for 8 minutes and 46 seconds on a street in public and broad daylight because he offered a counterfeit bill to pay at a convenience store. And in that moment, many of us really saw anti-Black racism for what it is, perhaps even for the first time. Perhaps we started thinking about what it might be like to live in an area of the country where large swaths of the state were literally on fire, reducing thousands of people's homes and lives to mere ashes because of droughts and heat from climate change. The Camp Fire in California alone took 14,000 homes. I can't even wrap my head around that number. And because we slowed down so much, not only did we allow ourselves to see these things, we also allowed ourselves to feel the pain of really seeing these things. And we were not able to turn away, not able to duck our heads and carry out the next 15 items on our to-do list, because there literally was nowhere else for us to go. We slowed down and we saw the world around us, and we felt the pain of what we saw. Now, some of us resumed a faster pace of life this summer as more workplaces reopened, or we figured out safe ways to get away, or how to resume certain activities. As for me, I moved here this summer to Northern Virginia, and that left me very busy. But I don't think, busy as we may be now, that we can unsee the things that we saw while we were all still sitting still and quiet in our homes. I can say for sure that slowing down and seeing our world as it is, that changed me inside profoundly in ways that I am still grappling with. And I don't think that I'm the only one in that. How else has life changed us in these upside down times? I feel like we have come to understand and to begin to appreciate the challenges and the risks that our essential workers are taking, everything that they sacrifice so that we can remain safely in our homes and avoiding catching the virus and spreading the virus. Another way that life is changing us. How is parenting changing because of this pandemic? What can be said about working women's experience of this pandemic, especially if they are also parents? Here's another one. Who would have believed that we could have meaningful holiday experiences watching a computer or a TV in your living room or your home office or your bedroom? Some of you have even told me quietly that you like it this way because it saves the stress of the drive and the parking, or you don't have to worry so much about what you look like to come to services. And you can just tune in with us and just be. And that sounds delightful, and I love that for you. And here's the question that I am holding as a result of that statement. How does living in this reality change our understanding of what gathering together Jewishly should be like, could be like, when we can gather together again in the future? I don't think we can answer that question right now because we are very much still in the middle of it. As Rebecca Geller just mentioned, online services are not going away anytime soon, especially with an uptick in coronavirus cases nationwide and the expectation that that will continue and perhaps even worsen throughout the fall as it gets colder and more needs to be done indoors. The question is certainly out there, how this will change us, our Judaism, our community, how we gather. In so many ways, we are changing. Life is changing us. Yom Kippur is an opportunity to reflect and to take stock of our lives. We have a moment to look inside now and to think about who we really are and who we are becoming as life is changing us. What's important to us now that wasn't a priority before? What things no longer matter? And how do we feel about everything that's changing around us and within us? I'll tell you that I am very much hoping for a coronavirus vaccine, one that is safe and can be made widely available to enough of our population to halt the spread. But I want to know who we're going to be once we are no longer under lockdown. How will these times have changed us? Who will we be on the other side? What about our children? Who will they be? And what will they need from us as we move forward? What do they need from us now? Being as we are still in the middle of this, and there is so much that we do not know, cannot know, but there is one thing that I do know, and that is that this community, this Adat Re'im, is going to care about the answers to those questions as they emerge. This community cares about our people and our needs. And your new rabbi cares a lot as well. I want to take a moment right now to thank everybody who has supported me through the grieving of my father's death on August 8th. It really hasn't been that long. I'm so appreciative of everybody who wrote notes and asked me how I was doing. People have been bringing me food and checking in on me and really helping carry me so that we could be together and so that I could lead you here in this moment. I could not have done this without you. And I'm just so grateful for that. And we really, really do care. And I know that deep in my heart because you've shown that to me already. And I'm not even here 3 months. And so it is my commitment to us to help us put that care into action this year. As Rebecca Geller also explained, it is my hope to be offering more online gatherings this year, similar to what we did at Slichot, but also other activities as well, to explore Jewish spirituality and resilience tools and mindfulness, and to explore our new realities and the changes, to explore them in supportive spaces. I'll offer a Jewish meditation minyan for 20 minutes on Tuesday mornings. And if you can't make it live, I'll record it so that you can see it later. If you still want to meditate with us, you'll still be able to do that. I'll offer a class on exploring Judaism to teach Jewish basics, but also to offer a venue for viewing Judaism and Jewish teachings through this new lens that we are in. Saturday morning Torah study is also going to be a venue for this, and it is already underway. 10:20 a.m. every Saturday online for about 45 minutes. I hope to start an interfaith family and identities group and a support group for people who want to talk about parenting choices and challenges in these upside down times. Spaces to help us process what we are experiencing as these changes ripple and in some cases tear through our lives. To help us find our center again, or to help us find a new center. Perhaps you have other ideas for how we can be supportive of each other. Please share your ideas and let's explore them. We'll explore them together. It's a brave new world out there, friends. And now we face this brave new year of 5781. There is really no other way to refer to it. And we needn't be afraid to look inside to see how we are growing, how we are changing, because we will discover the inner resources that we have to bring forth to meet the challenges of our times. And we needn't be afraid because we have each other. These amazing online services are a perfect example of how we show up for each other, how we are capable of bringing forth resources that many of us never knew we even had, abilities to connect in ways that we never knew we could. We can do this, friends. We can do this. I want to bless our community on this Yom Kippur by recognizing the great blessing that it truly is, by recognizing our potential, our capacity, our truth, that we can meet the challenges of this brave new year, and we will get there together. Shana Tova.